Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, glad to be here. Good to see everybody.
Tom Mathis.
5 days to go to a good national championship game, everybody.
Indeed. Keith Farrell.
Cheers, all.
And Willie McGee, our foxhound, has also joined us here.
He's getting some free scratches.
Willie, anything you want to throw in?
Woof.
Okay. In this edition, big changes in the NFL. And who is the current Super Bowl favorite? Who knows? Indiana advances to the national title game, and Coach Cignetti is ecstatic. They will face Miami and Michael Irvin. Sorry about that one, Doug, who's on assignment. Our Thomas and Kyrou potentially on the move as part of a big Blues makeover. And I'll tell you who is on the move. That's Nolan Arenado. Goodbye. St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at firstcoaststeel.com. That's one stcoaststeel.com. And we will hear more from them later in the show. Tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. You know, folks, if you go to the bottom of the podcast, you'll find a place to rate and follow the St. Louis Sportists, and man, that helps us out a lot. We're on X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. I'm not going to mention that other thing this week. And you can watch this goofiness on YouTube at STL Sportists. That's SPORTISTS. And our website is stlouissportist.com. Let's go to quick hits, Joe Sperlin.
Well, I always try to keep everybody updated on the portal because it's so hard to keep track of the 10,000 people that are in the portal. I believe that that's closing Friday. Soon, Friday. You know, we talked about that young man from Illinois State, Dylan Lord. By the way, he entered the portal.
Of course.
On Monday and re-signed, if that really means anything, back with Illinois State on Wednesday. So good for that young man.
Nice.
So surprisingly, I would like to shout out to a couple of local kids down here from Logan Rogersville. JJ O'Neill was at Missouri State and ended up staying at Missouri State, and Zach Bergman, who was at Missouri Southern, Ron, a fine institution over there in Joplin. He ended up signing for MAC action at Buffalo.
Oh.
So we
up
get a little
north.
MAC action there, yeah. Now, these guys are just going to their second school, unlike this young man, and I won't say young man, he might be almost 30 now, TJ Finley, who signed with his seventh school.
That's 7, SEVEN.
And if he had another year eligibility, he might be Division II or NAIA, because he went from LSU to Auburn to Texas State to Tulane, Western Kentucky, Georgia State, and now he's at Incarnate Word. So TJ Finley, here's to you, man. 7 schools. Wonder how many degrees he has. Doctor. Yeah.
Dr. Finley. I remember when Dr. Finley, I remember when he transferred from LSU to Auburn, and I was very concerned that he was going to be a very, very good player. And, well, you know, we'll see what happens at Trinity.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Mathis.
So we will cover the Arenado trade in more depth in section coming up. But I just want to address the Cardinal fans who are upset about the Cardinals rebuilding and trading Arenado, saying they don't have any stars. My first question is, what did they win with Arenado on the roster? They played 3 playoff games, and they won none of them. And then even with Goldie, they were 0 for 3 in the 3 playoff games in that 5-year period. So there's no difference happening here on the roster or paying him to play for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the second thing is people are saying the Cardinals don't rebuild. I don't know if any of these fans were around the 1970s or the 1990s. The Cardinals do rebuild, and it's happened. You should be thankful for the stretch that we had from 2000 to 2020, 21. You guys were fortunate. We did not have that growing up.
I remember the first game I went to on August 22nd, 1976, against the Atlanta Braves when I sat in section 232, row 17, seat 14. Cardinals 8, Braves nothing. Lynn McLaughlin threw a complete game shutout. Keith Hernandez hit the first home run I ever saw. And there may have been 8,000 or 9,000 people at that game.
Yes.
Those were the 70s, folks.
Yep.
Very bad. Ted Simmons played left field and wore a batting helmet.
Dick Allen played third base and wore a batting helmet.
Wore a batting helmet. Yeah.
He probably would wear a face mask today.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So, yes, excellent point.
And I mean, we went through a lot, and we were lucky to, see who we got to see some great players in those days. But it wasn't very good teams because they didn't have pitching when they had the hitting. They didn't have the hitting when they had the pitching. So be thankful we had the 2000s. So it was a great time for Cardinal baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that 76 team had Hall of Famers Lou Brock and Ted Simmons, and it also had Vic Harris, B.B. Richard, and Hector Cruz.
Yes.
Hector Cruz.
That's after they traded Ken Reitz, right? And they put Cruz at third base.
Yeah. They traded Reitz for 1 year, and then they traded back for him. And I think he had an OPS plus over 100 one season in his whole life.
But he won a Gold Glove.
Well, good glove. Good glove.
There you go.
Kenny Reitz was a great guy. I used to see him all the time in the store I used to work. So he was a great guy.
Well, that makes up for something.
Yes, it does.
There you go.
Mr. Farrell.
Well, looking at what Nick Saban was pretty outspoken about the portal, and what he had mentioned was he wanted to change the dates on the college football calendar, in particular the portal dates, instead of making it a January end, making it May end. And what he said was like, right now it's just chaos. And if you look at it, you got 1 in 4 players, actually greater than 1 in 4 players are entering the portal. It's 27%. That's over 3,000 players.
Mm-hmm.
It's insanity. You have you have coaching changes before bowl games, which is causing chaos. And so what's going on right here? And you have other coaches poaching other players during these playoff and bowl games. So that's, there's some ethical issues with that. And, you make these changes. Here's what happens. There's no poaching. Teams end the season with a full roster. These are student athletes, so they can actually finish out a semester. And I think Saban's the guy to do it. He's the guy he's the coach with the voice of reason. He has nothing to gain. But who's going to listen to him?
Yeah.
And that seems to be the question. Yeah. Is it going to be the conference commissioners who seem to be the voice? Is it going to be the NCAA who's not enforcing their own rules? But is it Congress? And so there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I think one man has the answer and the influence. It's just a matter of, can these commissioners get their heads out of their rear ends and do what's best for the game?
Going back to what you said, there was a clip of him talking about moving the portal, and my wife watched it, and then she watched it for a second time, and then she said very definitively, he's right. Yeah, just like she's like, that's what they should do. And
I
I'm
mean, the
like,
chaos or
yeah.
that whole Ole Miss thing. Oh my God.
Mhm.
The NCAA didn't need that bad press during this, what should have been a celebratory time of the season.
Now, and if you want to start a fight in the state of Mississippi, say, man, that game you guys lost was so close. You think if you had Kiffin, you'd think you'd have won that and been playing for the national championship game?
Those are fighting words for sure.
Nope.
Yeah. You know, the other fighting words are just to call it Mississippi instead of Ole Miss. Man, they hate that. And if you don't believe me, folks, find someone affiliated with Ole Miss and say, so how did Mississippi do this past year?
So, Keith, I think you used the perfect word in your statement, and that is ethical. To me, the ethic is out of the game at this point, and they're just worried about how much money the school can make, a coach can make, and then the player. So I think the ethics are gone out of the football game.
Yep.
100%.
Hey, I think Dan Lanning may have posted it, but I think a lot of people have talked about that. They talked about expanding the playoffs and doing it where the college football season was done January 1, and that it's possible. And he's like, we don't need 10 days and 14 days off. Just keep playing it on the weekends and whenever it is, and then play the national championship game on January 1. You're done. Then the portal starts.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, and you don't need Alabama playing Alabama and A&M to start off the season. So
Or start everyone on week 0. I saw that too.
Yeah. I think that was it, Ron. Start on week 0 and they'd be fine. And that would give everyone, I think, 2 bye weeks too.
There you go. That's fine. That's easy. But that makes too much sense, as one of our old teachers used to say. I believe that was a John Deacon's line from. I have to throw in an Ava reference there.
Yeah.
So, good news: the St. Louis Cardinals announced today that pitchers and catchers report on the 12th of February, and according to my wristwatch, that's less than a month from now. Full squad on the 16th of February, which means baseball is just around the corner, which means people start to make decisions like the Kansas City Royals. They're not the Lenexa
Kings.
Right. They're not the Lenexa Royals yet. But they made a decision this week. So last year they didn't hit a lot of home runs, and despite the fact they had Salvador Perez and Mr. Witt at short. So guess what they decided to do? They are moving the fences in at Royals Stadium by 8 to 10 feet, and they're lowering the fence by roughly 1.5 feet. Now, according to the statement that the Royals sent out, they are doing this for competitive reasons.
Yeah.
Did they project how many more home runs or anything like that they would hit?
I am sure that there were some analytics involved and that there were, plots and graphs and charts and everything. They say that making this a fairer ballpark will help with roster construction. But more importantly, will allow, I hate using allow there, I always say will enable our players to keep the same approach regardless of where we play. You mean to tell me that they're swinging differently at home than they are on the road? I don't buy that.
They're adjusting their launch angle at home compared to
that's
on the road.
it. That's right. They adjust their launch angle by 3 degrees at home.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, if you go to Kauffman Stadium this year, again, they're allegedly moving out of Kauffman Stadium, and I believe they will in 2030. There's a good chance that your chances for souvenirs may improve. The Kansas City pitching staff could not be reached for comment. I believe they were quarantined. So. But I tell you who could be reached for comment, and that was Curt Cignetti, who said he was popping open a cold, frosty beer, Tom Mathis, after his team put a whooping on the Ducks. Tom Mathis, how good is this Indiana team?
This team, they do almost everything right. Watching them play, their blocking is almost perfection. And I mean, they get down the field, they take on linebackers and defensive backs. They're Mendoza. Well, he won the Heisman for a reason, but his throws are always on the money. And a lot of times the receiver is turning around and the ball's right there. I mean, he's on time, he's on target. They are just really fun to watch. And then defensively, I think they take a backseat to the offense, but that defense, they're really amazing. And what they did to Alabama just shows that. And I feel bad for Oregon because, they're playing their seventh and eighth string running backs, but they were at a huge disadvantage. But I don't think it mattered. It wouldn't have mattered in that game.
Yeah, he's the best player for the Raiders right now. Just ask the fans.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an easy call for the Raiders. It's the Jets that no one wants to play for.
Oh,
Now,
No, people will stay in school to avoid playing for the Jets.
yes,
I'm gonna take an extra PE class just so I can get an extra semester.
That's right. I that French minor looks really good.
I'm always getting some phone calls right now on how to avoid getting drafted.
Yeah, I just said I'm not playing for the Colts. I can still see that. Joe Sperlin, the Hurricanes of Miami. Man, that was quite a game they had there against Mississippi.
against Mississippi, the Rebels. I tell you, to dominate the game and then at the end to almost be like, are you going to win? I mean, the entire game was Ole Miss domination, Miami domination, but Ole Miss just kept hanging in there. I mean, I worry about the Oregon beatdown that they gave Indiana. I mean, or Indiana gave Oregon. They might do the same thing to Miami because Miami sometimes has problems blocking up front, and you say defensively they're going to do all that stuff, but Indiana dominated Oregon, so I don't know, but it was an exciting game, and Ole Miss hung in there the entire time. You wonder if Lane Kiffin had been there, if it would have been any different, but we'll never know. Lane's taking his money and going.
He is, and I mean it's kind of amazing to think that if that one field goal that doesn't doink off the uprights, Keith, boy, that changes the last few seconds of that game.
Oh yeah, that game, it was a good first half, and my biggest takeaway, I think, going in, I won't say a takeaway, but what I can foresee going on in that Miami Indiana game is Miami's going to have to play a little dirty. They're going to have to hit that quarterback. I can see a couple personal fouls. I can see a late hit or two or three out of bounds. Just to get Indiana seems to be kind of the prom king right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the prom king's going to have to get a little dirty, and they're going to have to play out of character.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Miami getting Indiana out of its game. But boy, Miami's going to have to play perfect on, outside of that. They're going to have, and these games are coming down to second halves too. And who's making the fewer mistakes. And I think this time of the year, we talk about, it's not about defense and offense, but getting back to it's about offense, defense, and your special teams.
Mm-hmm.
So this game could be decided by a field goal, a special teams play, or a couple bad penalties.
Well, and Miami's the hot team. I mean, Indiana's been doing it all year, but Miami's the hot team that you got to worry about. And, they got that make a difference player. I'm drawing a blank on his name, number 10, that he gets the ball. And that's what killed Ole Miss. He made a couple plays that, you thought Ole Miss had it, and then he breaks a couple tackles and it hurts him. So.
The other thing about these two teams, both coaches are a little squirrely, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just a little goofy, man. And just their personalities after the game are, oh man, I wouldn't want to interview them, I tell you that.
Did you guys catch Cristobal? The game was almost over. An assistant came up from behind and hugged him. And
Yeah.
he gave him the death stare. I mean,
I thought he was going to fight him.
I did too. He probably fired him after the game. I don't know.
If nothing else, he was running steps. Malachi Tony, Joe,
Yes, thank
that's
you.
the guy that,
Tony, but I just could not remember the first name, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Is it first name, last name?" Well, they're following the script of Nick Saban, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard Saban quiz Cristobal about running out the clock the first half, and he said, "Hey, that come directly from your notebook." He goes, "Here was the time, here was what the situation was, and I did exactly what you would have done." So it was kind of like, don't give me crap about it. I think he used a different word, but it was like, I followed your playbook. Do not tell me anything about it.
Yeah. Don't start. Don't start.
Yeah.
And we'll get into our picks for that in Blue Horseshoe's corner here coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, let's stay in college. And Tom, we're watching the University of Missouri Columbia, who you and I are representing here with our attire tonight, with a 10-point lead over Auburn currently, 58-38. They keep showing that dude in the cowboy hat, by the way. I don't know why. But so Marching Mizzou is at the football games. They have Mini Mizzou at the basketball games. This team is kind of maddening Mizzou. They win their first two SEC games against teams they have no business winning, and then they lose to Mississippi.
Yeah.
on Saturday. Tom, what are you? It helps to get some injured players back, doesn't it?
It does. Pierce has been a big help getting him back in the lineup. We talked about him for a while, and then Jaden Stone, him coming back was a big help. I think both of them. I could do a little less Jacob Cruz on the court in his shooting. He's like we said before, he's a Caleb Grill wannabe, and he's not quite up to Caleb Grill. So again, this team. Sometimes they don't play defense, and them once in this game, every game, they're going to have a 4 or 5 minute stretch where they don't know where the basketball's supposed to go. They don't know how to put it in the net, and it's just infuriating. I don't know how it keeps happening, but it does every single game.
No, you're exactly right, Keith. That's when I look at my wife, who's an avid Mizzou fan, and say it's like they've been stuck on 52 for a long time. Pick your score. It's like they've been stuck on whatever.
Well, if you look, I think this season has been broken up into two different segments right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at that first part of the season, let's just say the last game that Illinois game, that's their low water mark. Okay, they're 2-1 since then. They've got a pretty good home energy against Auburn right now. They're looking to go 3-1 since that Illinois game. They just need that trajectory. There's something different about this team in the second half. And I mean, we did not think that they were going to win an SEC game this year. We thought there's a potential for another shutout. But they're looking pretty good.
They are. And I'll tell you what, you actually provided a great seg there, because Illinois has kind of arced up since that game too, which we didn't think they needed too much.
Well, listen to this. So they have a 5-game winning streak. You got almost 5 players. You got the 5th guy hitting 9.7 points per game. You got 5 guys in double digits, plus a bench, and Brad Underwood using that depth to keep those guys fresh. They're shooting the lights out of the ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be, and they've got some strong power. They got some strong guys underneath the hoop. They can play that inside out game, and that's deadly in the tournament. So big things to come. I'm curious to see how that's going to translate the rest of the Big 10 season, Big 18 season, however you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Brad Underwood's got a good thing rolling for him right now.
He does. And who the other team locally that has it rolling, Tom, is we're watching the SLU Billikens up 28-22 on the Fordham Rams. This is 2 weeks in a row, Joe Sperlin, that the Billikens have played Rams. Is there anyone else in the A10? Do they use other nicknames in the A10?
I don't think so. I don't
I
think so.
think there's 3 Rams in the A10.
That's like Tigers in the SEC.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that that SLU is the only Billikens.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, they coined that term. That's
You know,
true.
it's
But
funny. I got on the bracketology just before we got on. I clicked on that just to kind of, and they had 2 A10 teams in there. Them
Oh,
and
wow.
the
That wouldn't surprise
George
me.
Mason. George Mason.
So listen to these numbers real quick. So they're still ranked in the top 10 in scoring.
Yeah.
Okay, in the country at 92.8 points per game.
Which
They're
is a
giving
lot.
up. It's a ton. And number 1 is Georgia at 96 and some change.
Yeah.
So they're right there. They're only giving up 67 points per game. Okay. They're shooting 52% from the field, which in college
Wow.
basketball, I think that's pretty steady. 38.4% from 3-point line.
Wow.
Okay. Put that in perspective. And I know the NBA dimensions are a little further out, but Golden State's shooting 38%. Okay. So, but yeah, those are some, I mean, just keep on scoring, I mean, and the defense seems to be in play, so the average one is 92 to 67.
That's crazy. And it's,
That is.
I'm looking at Robbie Avila out there. It feels like, Tom, he's doing better this year because he's not like, he doesn't feel like he has to be demand. They're much more of a team approach this year.
Exactly. He doesn't have to be the big guy every game, but they're also playing him less minutes because they have other players that can take some time off of him. So his minutes are down, which is huge for him. I mean, a big guy like that, you can't be playing 38 minutes every game. So, take some pressure off of him, get him some rest, especially right now during the season, let the other guys play. And I mean, I've said it, they're really fun to watch.
Yeah, I can see them being a 4-5 seed going into this tournament.
They've they're 26th in the country right now, have only lost 1 game, and Tom, as you outlined, that was one of the more crazy endings we've seen this year in college basketball.
That was that was a heartbreaker.
So, speaking of crazy endings, Joe Sperlin, the wild card games this past weekend, with the exception of that New England game, which, as I said in our chat, was timed to put us to sleep on Sunday night. There were some crazy endings to those wild card games in the National Football League this year.
Just like the NFL and the script wants it. I mean, they want those people in there. And I saw that the ratings on all the games were up like 14%. Amazon, hey, that's not going away. The ratings were up. So, I mean, like I said, the NFL is the king. They're going to watch it. But yeah, I thought they were good games, and they were. It's amazing how in the NFL you can have a season, make the playoffs, lose the first round game, and everyone wants to make changes, and it's a disappointing season.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're getting guys fired, coordinators getting fired. I think the Eagles it'll have their 6th new offensive coordinator in a row.
I was just going to touch on the Eagles, Joe, and I think it's like a slow bleed. Everyone kind of saw and anticipated this coming, right? And it kind of reminds you of the lack of creativity that you saw with Kansas City toward the tail of last year. You just kind of saw this thing slowly deteriorating, and it's there for the Eagles right now. So it's interesting to see what kind of, because the personnel is basically the same, right? I mean, you got your star players.
And you do wonder about the extended season and the extended off season of being a Super Bowl champ or being in the Super Bowl, of everything you have to do in appearances, what it does to a team. And it's the same thing. We're not going to change it. It worked. It got us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, everybody else is changing, and
it's hard to lose with Barkley and Derrick Henry.
Right.
I mean, preseason predictions, I mean, we predicted good things for both Philadelphia and Baltimore. And for those two teams to lose like they did with those two players, I mean, Barkley looked like he just could not get through the front five.
He looked tired.
Yeah.
Almost.
I think he looked defeated. Yeah.
I don't normally comment on the NFL, but you were talking about the Super Bowl, hanging that, playing deep into the season, how much effect it has on it. But these better teams, the Chiefs, the Eagles, they're on prime time. Their schedule is just whacked up, and you can't ever get into a rhythm that way.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, I don't know how they stayed in it as long as they did.
And Tom, that is a brilliant point, because the 99 Rams were so bad the year before. They had no Sunday night games. They had no Monday night games. Every game they had was Sunday at noon or 3.
Like, get it over with.
I think they only had like 2 or 3 p.m. games.
Yeah. And that's what they're talking about, Denver and New England, that they kind of get a benefit from the schedule. The Bears, a benefit from the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So back to the state of Pennsylvania. Joe, our buddy Holly Reed, deep in the heart of Texas, the distinguished Texas A&M alum herself, sent me the statistic last night that since 1969 there have been more popes than head coaches of the Pittsburgh Steelers. More popes than coaches.
That's an interesting perspective. She must go to church a lot.
I think she's reasonably devout. So yeah, tremendous run, despite the fact he lost his last 7 playoff games. I didn't realize that until I saw it. For Coach Tomlin, who now is, I heard today on my Sports Business Journal podcast that every television network has reached out to him already.
Yeah.
So he seems to have a great many options for being as relatively young as he does.
Did you say he had lost his last 7 playoff games? Okay, so I saw that he was 8-12 in the playoffs.
Oh, there you go.
So, until that he was 8-5. And, someone even asked me, how many Super Bowls did he win? And I go, 1. He was in 2. Is that right? In 19 years. Now, we know a lot of people would sit there and say, yeah, there's a lot of teams that would take that. But for being in the playoffs almost every year, I could see why it was, hey, there's the agreement of probably with him and Hartable of, hey, it's time to go on to something else. It's time for a change. And they probably both agreed with that. May not have been happy about it, but yeah.
You had the major networks and probably 10 teams that would hire each of those guys in a heartbeat. Harbaugh, I think, is going to be a little bit of he wants a power grab. I think Tomlin just wants to coach, and that's what I saw out of him.
And you wonder if those guys, you hear them mention, like, why would anyone want to go to the Giants? Why would anyone want to go to the Titans? But I guess you sit there and say, hey, I can turn that around. And coaches at that level, their egos are unbelievable, and they probably can do it. But, I like when someone said, they're starting to post the Atlanta Falcons interviewed Jim Harbaugh, and then someone on Twitter put, no, Jim Harbaugh interviewed the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to put on my marketing hat for 1 second and say, you know why you want the New York Giant job? Because if you turn that around, and you are successful as the coach of the New York Giants, you're go back to Titanic. You're king of the world, man. You're in commercials for Rolex and for American Express, and you have your choice of premium brands wanting you to represent them.
Your checking account is going to thank you.
And I think in the NFL is so, it's so easy to turn things around. Look at the past couple years. You get a great schedule, you get some good drafting. They got some deal. Jackson Dart is obviously the quarterback. Tennessee's obviously got a quarterback, and then you fill other spots, free agency, people come and play for you. You turn it around. Even if you get them in the playoffs, you're a hero, and then you do it as long as you want and you're done.
And the other thing is, if two teams in your division have injuries at like quarterback and a couple other key positions, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
You win your division, you get a high seed, and you're in the playoffs. Bam, you get a bye. There you go.
Yeah.
So, yesterday, mid-morning, I got a text in our group chat from, we all got a text from Mr. Tom Mathis, that Nolan Arenado was leaving St. Louis. Keith Farrell, has there ever been more excitement about a future Hall of Famer and an All-Star leaving town?
Man, it's been, I heard the word today regarding this, and I think and I'll stick to it, and it's the word exhausting. It's been a 365-day exhausting, saga with this guy. And I bet you in hindsight, he would have rather have gone last year. Had his chance down in Houston. So I broke this down as in 3 segments, and it's the good, the bad, the ugly. Reflection of the good. His first 2 years here were Hall of Fame years, and it's been a steady decline since then. But when you had Arenado and Goldschmidt in the middle of that lineup, was it in 21 and 22?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Number 1 and number 3 in MVP voting, both 30 home run, 100 RBI guys. How do you lose with that?
Gold Glove guys.
Gold Glove, yeah. And then you look at the bad, the 2022 playoffs. Were these guys big game players? I mean, I think anyone can really go out there and have an all-star caliber season almost any season.
Mm-hmm.
But you get paid to play in those big games. Collectively in that series, they were 1 for 15, Goldie and Arenado, with Arenado going 1 for 8 and Goldschmidt going 0 for 7 in that 2-0 loss to Philadelphia in that wild card.
I think the only one that's had a worse series was Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, I would say so too. And then I broke it into the ugly, and this still stings. In 2023, this was Arenado and Goldschmidt's team. Molina had gone, Pujols is gone. Waino's still there, but he's singing and cowboying it up on his way to a 5-11 record with a 7.4 ERA.
7.4 ERA. As we would have said in Stratomatic, Joe Sperlin, that would have been a great hitter's card.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah. So, but there was a big to-do in the St. Louis media about who's the leader of this team.
Right.
We knew that Wainwright was not taking the bus with the young guys, which is something he used to do.
Right.
And Arenado and Goldschmidt went on the radio during an interview, and Arenado said, "These young guys are just taking over our locker room."
Yeah.
Well, that's your job, Nolan, to do that. If you're going to be a leader who's getting paid $35 million a year, you've got to take care of that stuff. Hey, Paul Goldschmidt, you got to take care of that stuff. Yachty's not here to do it. Carpenter's not here to do it for you. Pujols isn't here to do it for you. And that's my ugly moment. And that's when this team started, that 23, 24, 25 season. This team lacked leadership. And I put that on Goldschmidt and Arenado.
Yeah.
Keith, when you hear stories about that, you always think of those guys. To me, I envision Roger Dorn from Major League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
sitting there with his guitar or his golf clubs and being like, "Hey, don't bother me."
Yeah.
I'm checking my stock. I'm doing all this other stuff. Hey, we're taking extra practice. Nah, I don't, referring to themselves as third person, so anyway, that's my thoughts.
Hats for bats.
Yes.
Keep bats warm.
Yes.
When Arenado was still playing for the Rockies, my brother, the Rockies were in town for a 3-game series, and he got tickets in the upper deck, but we were right down the third base line. And we watched 2 games of Arenado playing second base or third base. And it was unbelievable, the plays that he made. He just made plays that you thought there's no way he was going to get to that ball. And then you're like, there's no way he's going to make that throw. He got to the ball. The throw was right on the money. He was, at that point, he was worth the price of admission. But unfortunately, once he got here, after those first 2 years, Keith's right. He was great. Goldie was great. But after those first 2 years, it was a steep decline quickly.
Well, I remember there was an interview that he had, and it was a spring interview, and they were talking about him redoing his swing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, he and Matt Holliday were working on their swing together, and this was going to be a more power swing. He was going to get the bat through the zone faster with more power. It never materialized.
No, remember last year he was working with the martial art dude, Tom. Remember that? He was working with the guy to improve his turn and his quickness, and he was going to be faster on the ball, and because his exit velocity was so low. But okay, enough of beating up on Arenado. Great stat that Derek Gould came up with when he asked Chaim Bloom this yesterday. Gould said to Bloom, "You've talked about getting more veteran leadership in the bullpen. You don't have a position player with more than 4 years of experience."
Yeah.
So Tom, who's the face of the franchise right now, or faces of the franchise?
Boy, it's got to be Mason Wynn, especially if Donovan gets traded. I think it's got to be Mason Wynn. He's a popular kid. He's a good player. He plays Ozzy's position. So I just think it's all in his favor to be the face of the franchise. And, hopefully, he keeps improving offensively and, stays as good defensively. I mean, that year he had last year with 3 errors? That's just incredible. So, yeah, I think it's really got to be him.
Yeah, and I think they're also hoping that maybe J.J. Weatherholt is lightning in a bottle, too.
Yeah.
He has a chance. But speaking of lightning in a bottle, Blue Horseshoe, we're down to, we used to do 5 NFL games and 5 college games, but now we have a total of 5 games.
That's right.
It's getting serious, and
Middle of
we're going to take a
January.
break. We're going to take a break and hear from the folks at First Coast Steel Buildings, and when we come back, it will be the very serious edition of Blue Horseshoe's Corner. We'll also talk some St. Louis Blues. Interesting things going on there, as well as a little St. Louis City. Do you realize that, my goodness, the boys hit the pitch here in 5 weeks, Keith? 5 weeks till soccer. All this and more when we come back.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848.
And welcome back to the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. Along with Joe Sperlin, Tom Mathis, and Keith Farrell, I'm Ron Cook, and it is time for Blue Horseshoe's Corner. It's getting serious, folks. We're down to 5 games. But before we get into those 5 games, please remember that these picks are for recreational purposes only and should not be the basis of any actual wager. If you believe you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And we would like to thank our legal counsel, Tom's sister, for her assistance. We're still negotiating her fee, I guess, Tom.
Oh, boy.
Free legal counsel.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Maybe we'll send her a koozie or something. I don't know. We'll send her some merch.
Yeah.
The odds that you're about to hear are from Bet ESPN this morning at 9:30 a.m. And with that, it's time for Blue Horseshoe.
One of my sad days, the final college football game. Like I have said several times, I enjoy college football probably more than anything. I'll watch the Tuesday night Conference USA games for teams I couldn't name one player, but I enjoy watching it. So here it is. The U is the U back, Michael Irvin, and it's going to be interesting how much time it takes them to show all the Hurricane alum, and then they'll probably flash over. Can anyone name a quick Indiana football alum real quick off the top of their head?
Trent Green.
Trent Green, there you go. Will Trent be there? I'm sure Trent will be in there. So there's that one guy. So Ron, this is listed as Indiana -7.5, but I think it's already moved up to 8.5 on some of these. But we're going to go with Indiana. Tom, what do you think?
I think I would put a 1 in front of that 7 and still take the Hoosiers. I just think that they're gonna win big. I really love the way they play, as we talked about earlier, and I think that Carson Beck is going to be running for his life.
Ron, what do you think?
I think all four of us on this podcast at one point have said something about sports, and someone has said to us, "How do you remember that?" And and my how do you remember that for tonight was in 1976 when Indiana had completed their undefeated season, which was the last undefeated season in college basketball. The Sports Illustrated headline was "Who but the Hoosiers?"
There you
which
go.
is my pick. Which is my pick.
Yes.
Too bad Sports Illustrated's not around. They could do it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
You tell that to a kid now, they'd go, "Who?" Go ahead.
Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah.
I think the only team that can beat Indiana is Indiana. And this game is in Miami. It's going to be obviously a pro crowd if they can find a place to park it. And we hear it's almost $750 to park.
That's my last call.
Thanks. Forget you heard that. So it's going to be one heck of a Miami showdown. Will that bring any more energy? Will that bring the 12th man to the field? I don't know, but I think it's going to be closer. But I still think it's not going to be a blowout. And I hope it's not a blowout. But I think I think still Indiana's going to cover. I think you're right.
I was not particularly surprised over the Alabama score. Now, the Oregon score just shocked me, but you can't turn it over 3 times against even a team that good. But when you talk about people traveling, and they said there was 80% Indiana at the Peach Bowl, and the comments were because they've been saving their entire life for this moment. So the outrageous prices I think they're going to pay, and I think it's Indiana. So we'll see what happens.
I'm sure they'll say, "Hang on, I had that on me."
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that surprised me is I heard that Indiana has the biggest alumni base in the country.
Okay, we looked this up, Tom. Do you know what their current undergraduate enrollment was?
What's that?
Right now?
Uh-uh.
It's over 100,000 undergraduate, because I knew it was 60,000 a few years ago, and I was kind of like telling Jamie, I'm like, "Hey, they have like 60,000." I looked it up. Oh, never mind, 112,000.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Now you get to count all those people taking it online that never set foot on campus, but still,
Exactly.
I still have a degree from Indiana. Exactly. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tom, we're going to be a short deal here to the NFL. We're going to start off Saturday at Denver on CBS. Buffalo. I think this is kind of like Kansas City. Everybody wants to think Buffalo is going to go to the Super Bowl. Buffalo -1.5 at Denver, Ron.
Denver, to me, is primed to be one of those teams that just everyone's like, "Wow, I thought they were better than that." Buffalo wins.
Okay. Keith?
I think Buffalo was fortunate to escape last weekend.
Duval.
And I think Denver's going to hold the seed and take take the win.
By the way, Ron, your stat on 68% of those games went or under last week. By the way, 4 of the 6 games went under. I'll do the math for you. That was 66%. Buffalo hit the under by half a point, and then there's the shaky extra point by Houston at the end of the game, which kept it from going over too. If you saw that, so
I lost money on the Bears Packers. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Buffalo. I think it's their time, and we'll see what happens. So let's see, CBS. That would be Romo will be there.
Yeah.
Romo. Now that Mahomes is not there, he'll give him some Josh Allen love.
Romo is under siege, by the way, in all of the media trades. They said he had such a shaky performance in his last game. They're actually talking about who takes over the number 1 color spot next year.
Yeah. Hey, maybe Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that figure. No, never mind. Don't say it. Okay. Seattle is at home, -7.5 on Fox versus the 49ers. Keith, what do you think? Seattle -7.5.
Man, I lost my tail in that 49ers game this past weekend. They have heart. They have the heart of a lion. God, I would love to see for the 49ers pull it out just because I love Robert Saleh and that defense. But I've got my brain is saying go Seattle all the way.
All right. Ron, what do you think?
Seattle, easily.
Okay. It's one of those deals you sit there and say, as Ron said, easily. And San Francisco with all their injuries, I'm going to say San Francisco may not win, but they're going to find it closer than the experts think. And that is on Fox. So for those of Tom Brady lovers, I think as you know, the reporters are talking about how much better Tom Brady is getting. I thought he was pretty good last week.
Brady's very good, especially everyone keeps going back to him talking about how to throw the football through the wind.
Oh.
Yes.
And hey, Tom, I'm going to bring you in for a second. Did you happen to see Tortorella last night between periods, breaking down that strategic action? He's fantastic as an analyst, and I think he's going to coach again. But some of those coaches really bring a lot to the broadcasts.
Especially hockey coaches, they are great on Barry Melrose. When he first started, he was pretty good. Then he became kind of a character of himself. But I mean, they bring a lot in, especially hockey, where we may not know everything we think we know about hockey. So they're very helpful.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Sunday. ABC, Houston at New England, -3. I will start off with this. The Houston defense, but C.J. Stroud will find a way to mess it up, and Mike Vrabel will find a way to win. So give me New England, -3 at home. Keith, what do you think?
I agree. A lot of these games come down to coaching, and I think Vrabel is going to find a way.
Yeah.
I agree with what Joe Sperlin said. The other thing I will say is this is one of those games that if you're watching it with like a group of people, the women are going to start talking because the game is so boring. It's going to be it's going to be one of those where it's just going to be like, why is the score? And it'll be some weird like 15-9 or something at some point.
All right, then our last game at Chicago on NBC. The Bears at Chicago, and the Bears are a 3.5-point home dog to this team they're playing. By the way, I'm not even going to say it. Go ahead, Ron. I know what you're going to say.
The Bears win by 100 points.
Which would be a record, I think. Keith?
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Could happen.
The Bears. Yeah, the Bears. Whoever they're playing.
Blue Horseshoe, thank you for your service this season. We're getting down to
after
fewer
this
and fewer games.
3 more games.
3 more games. Tom, we talked about last night's Blues game. Your St. Louis Blues are 18, 21, and 8. That's 44 points, 5 games out of a wild card. Last time we got together, they were 2 games out of, or 2 points out of a wild card. That's what an 0-3 road trip will do, especially when you lose to the likes of the Black Hawk in an embarrassing fashion.
Embarrassing.
But Mr. Hofer was good last night.
He had, we were having in our notes, is he the number one goalie at this point? And I think he is. I mean, he's been steady since his uneven start. He's been steady. He's had these 4 shutouts, like you said, and he's made some amazing saves across the game, both games. I just think right now he is the number one guy. And I mean, like you said, they lost to the Blackhawks. I was at the preseason game where they played the Blackhawks. Blues were up going into the third period. They took out, I think it was Hofer who'd started. They'd taken him out. And Chicago came back and they won that game like 4-2. And that, to me, it made Chicago think they could play with the Blues because they pretty much dominated the Blues this whole season up to this point.
Mizzou's up 5 cheating free throws, by the way. He missed it. And he missed it. Sorry.
I think
back to hockey. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. We have in the notes here, we're looking at Thomas and Kyrou and what's going to happen with them. And, we built this team around those 2 guys. Army built this team around those 2 guys.
Well, you give them 8-year contracts. Yeah, you built the team around them.
And they've done... Kyrou's, for all intents and purposes here, he got Berube fired. You would think that would spark him a little bit, but you see these guys go through the motions. You see them. I mean, you just watch Kyrou. Just put your eyes on Kyrou when he's away from the puck, and you're going to see the frustration that the coaches see.
He drifts.
He easily gets bumped off the puck. He can't bump anyone else off the puck. He does not play that 200-foot game. Thomas, if you look at his body language when he gets bumped off the puck, oh my God, it looks like his dog just died. And you need more out of your leader than those 2 guys. I mean, their body language is horrible. And you look at like a Jamie Benn, you look at a Keith Tkachuk, you look at some of these other leaders who had a little fight. I'm not looking for these guys to fight for the puck.
How telling is it that Kyrou doesn't have a letter and he's been here that long and he's been
cashing that check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have changed my mind. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have changed my mind on one player being traded, and that is Braden Shin. Braden Shin steps up, and every time the Blues need a fight, he's the one who steps up. Against Mark Stone in the Golden Knights the other night, Stone had that, I call it cheap hit on Broberg. Nobody else did anything, but Shinner, he stepped up there and he beat the crap out of him, and I loved every second of it.
That was one of the more. There was no way he was losing that fight.
There was no way. There was no way. He shouldn't be the one doing it, but he's doing it every single time.
Yeah, you're right. And if you take Shin off this team, who's going to have who's back on that team? And you watch. I think there was a recent interview I saw with Brett Hall. And he was talking about Twister and Chaser being on the ice. He's like, I didn't have to worry.
Right.
Nope. Nope. He did not.
No, and I'm just going to tell a quick story. Dick Vitale. I'm going to mix, since we're mixing sports. That seems to be a theme tonight.
Yeah.
Dick Vitale was breaking down an Indiana, Michigan game back when the Fab Five were there. And he's like, Michigan's got all this talent, but watch them run their offense, and they're jogging through their offense. They're not sprinting through their offense. He's like, and because of that, the Indiana guys are able to stay with them like they're just another team. And he said, if these Michigan guys were like sprinting through their offense, there's no way that Eric Anderson would be able to guard
Jamal, Chris Webber or whatever.
Right. There's no way Eric Anderson guards Chris Webber, but because Webber is jogging through the offense, he's able to stay right with. That's Kyrou.
Yeah.
Kyrou won the fastest skater in the NHL
All-Star game.
but because he's out there drifting, he's average.
Yeah, if you use your tools that God gave you, he can be the best player on the ice. And he shows that he's demonstrated that he can be the best player on the ice.
Yeah.
In spurts.
When I watch teams like the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl, the two best players in the league, they just take over games. They don't get lost and drift everywhere. They take over games. And that's what we need out of these two guys. And we're not getting anything close to it.
Nothing close. And then we're going to, Keith, we're going to do 2 minutes on City.
Okay.
They finally signed a guy.
Yeah. I did a scouting report on this kid. The first word that comes up is tenacious. And, that equals heart to me. And I kind of saw a lot of Daniel Edelman is exactly what this team needs if he's going to bring tenaciousness to this field. He was a captain on his, U18, USA team. And, all the metrics on him point toward a positive. The only thing that I've read is he doesn't have the closing speed. But, if you use your brain and you knock off those angles, man, you could be an effective soccer player. And this team needs a jolt. And this seems to be the jolt it needs.
The one thing that I'm hoping is we saw Leuven and Klaus have to come back to get the ball. And if he's a guy that can advance the ball to the point where those guys can stay in their positions, Klaus can stay in the 9, God forbid, and Leuven can stay as an attacking midfielder as opposed to a, almost crossing midfield to get the ball.
Yeah.
What a difference does that make in the attack?
Well, he's going to need some complementary players to step up. That's 100% true. He can't do this by himself, but at least defensively, I think there were some holes on that back line. And so defensively, I feel a lot better with this kid on the back line. It's going to be the progression of getting out of the zone. And can he provide what we did not have last year? That's to be determined, but all indicators show that he's capable of filling that void.
Right. Training camp began yesterday. That's Tuesday.
Yes.
Training camp began Tuesday. And then they go in the they begin the preseason, which I have equated to there's nothing like the MLS preseason because there are no fans. It's on this really bizarre pitch, and it's I've equated it to when Pablo Escobar had the teams come to his mansion, and he sat up there and watched them. That's a little bit the vibe of the MLS preseason.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
Didn't count on a Pablo Escobar reference, did you? And Dave Reinhardt is going to go, you used Pablo Escobar to lead into my read, but yes, I'm going to, Dave, because it's time for the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. Black Dog Consulting LLC is here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Dave has 37 years and 4 million plus miles experience with flatbed, step deck, overdimensional dry vans, and refrigerated units. Dave grew the last fleet he managed from 1 truck to 5 with yearly gross revenue of $3.7 million. If this is the growth you're looking for, contact Dave at 417-217-9622 or oldblackdog0523@gmail.com. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Joe Sperlin, what do you have for a last call?
Sometimes Tom likes to refer to it as a double. I'm just going to take a really quick shot right here today. The famous thing now is the coaching tree. In college football, you're going to hear about it all Monday. The Nick Saban coaching tree. They both coach for him. The Bill Walsh coaching tree. The Andy Reid coaching tree. My gosh, Sean McVay now is starting to get his own coaching tree. Mike Tomlin at Pittsburgh, 19 years. In the years he was head coach, here's another stat, Ron. There was 141 NFL head coaches during those 19 years, counting
My
interns. I saw that today. But the most amazing thing to me I've heard about all of this, the Mike Tomlin coaching tree, absolute zero. No one.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No young
Whoa.
coaches. Now, when I looked up his offensive and defensive coordinators, they were always veteran guys. Now, you wonder, maybe that's why they had a winning record and was in the playoffs every year. But there you go. Little quick shot, Tom, not a double this time.
Joe, if I can throw in really quickly, if you can go back and find a Bill Walsh picture of like his staff, your mind will be blown. You'll be
It's
like, is that Mike
amazing.
Shanahan? Is
Yes.
that John Gruden? Is
Yes.
that Mike Holmgren? It's like,
Yes.
oh my, you'll be like, just sir, yes, that's like an exercise. Circle all the future head coaches. Ray Rhodes, really?
I love this. I love the stories. I think Gruden had one about like when he was an assistant quarterback coach or something about how he was treated by those guys. So
Can't imagine. Tom Mathis.
So, Joe, I will make mine a double this week again.
there you go.
My first thing is with the trade of Nolan Arenado, the Cardinals' streak of having a Hall of Fame player on their roster might be ending. They've had a Hall of Famer on their roster every year since 1915. And since honorary sportist April does not like math, I will tell you that's 110 season. That is an incredible streak. And I don't know if there's anybody on this roster who will keep it going.
Come on, Jordan Walker.
Come on, Mason Wynn.
Mason Wynn might be the one. So
JJ Weatherholt.
JJ Weatherholt.
he could be.
He better play.
He better play. My other one is the Blues had their Hall of Fame induction this week on Monday night. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I plead with you to go to YouTube to the St. Louis Blues and watch it. They had Red Berenson and Gary Younger, two guys from my youth that I loved watching play. And then they had a special tribute to Kelly Chase. And that was worth everything to me. Chaser won the True Blue Award. And if there's anybody who represents the Blues any better when he was on the ice or now in the city, I don't know who it could be. So watch that. Just watch it for the Chaser part. And Garth Brooks was there for Chase.
I've heard that there was not a dry eye during the Chase portion.
No. Then Holly broke up a little bit. I mean, it was pretty cool.
They asked Garth Brooks, did you write that song, Friends in Low Places, about Telly Chase? Garth Brooks goes, yes, sir. Doesn't get any. It's pretty funny.
Oh, my. Keith.
Well, the Cardinals winter warm-up is this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it at the Millennium or the Clarion?
I think it's at the stadium.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay. It's going to be, all I can say is it's going to be a rough year for St. Louis Cardinal charities. Cardinal Care Charities.
Our buddy Mike Hall. Mike, if you're listening, good luck, man.
Yeah. So looking at the autograph prices, the most expensive autograph for a current Cardinal is $75 this year. That's like less than half of what it used to be for some of the current Cardinals. So Mason Wynn is at $75. Guess who else is tied for the most expensive autograph? A former Cardinal. I'll just save you the thought. So Taguchi.
Oh,
$75.
Wait, who? Who'd you say?
So Taguchi.
Okay.
It's really good if you add a little soy sauce. No,
yeah, I was like, what? Who?
It's the number 4.
Yeah. So
Thank goodness you didn't have us guess because we'd have been here a long time.
a long time. This would have been
Yeah.
a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah.
So the most expensive after that is David Freese. I think the best deal, Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith at $50. But I found a list from 2020 and 21.
Oh dear.
Between Molina, Goldschmidt, and Waino, the range was between $100 and $150. Let's just say I don't think the Cardinals are going to get the. Hey, hello, Marvin. I don't think the Cardinals are going to get the attendance, and they're obviously not going to get the money from the autograph. So it's a really sad state of Cardinal baseball.
Do you remember last year when the gal was in the elevator with John Mozeliak and said, "You know, a lot of people don't like you right now," and then she got selected to answer a question or to ask a question, and before she could ask the question, Mozeliak says, "I have to, in the spirit of full disclosure, say we met in the elevator."
That's great.
Oh, so mine's a quick one like Joe's. If you are attending the championship game on Monday night, due to the fact there's two factors here. One, you've got the Indiana people who've been waiting their whole lives for this and are going to whip the cash out of their overalls. Sorry, Indiana friends, and buy the ticket. And also, it's in Miami. So Pitbull. Do we have a Pitbull sighting at the game? What do you think?
More than likely.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope not.
100%.
Yeah. I'm with you
Santa's in
guys.
Miami. So because of that, according to The Athletic today, it was $3,000 for what they called a single seat in a terrible location. $3,000 for a single seat in a terrible location. But as Keith tipped off earlier, parking passes are currently averaging $747. Now, if you throw in a lager and a hot dog, you're easily looking at a $4,000 night for a college football game, or you could be in the Thunderdome and watch it basically for free. I mean,
how much is parking?
It's the choice at the Thunderdome.
Yeah,
it's relatively free.
Yeah, I think you can park on someone's lawn and get away with it.
Yeah, here you
relatively free. So $3,000 tickets and $747 parking. I mean, that's
don't forget the hotel those Indiana people are going to pay.
Yeah,
even without it, just in Miami alone, and then they're going to jack the prices up. Hey, we got another Indiana area code. Let's stick it to them again.
and especially with the Verbos or et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've heard that people are saying you should Uber in. So I think we should drive down there and we just Uber people around Monday night.
Good Lord, how much money can you make in a day?
Yeah, there you go.
It would be nuts.
Heck yeah. So on that entrepreneurial note, we would like to thank you for joining this episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. Again, we are on all social media. And Joe Sperlin, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Always enjoy visiting with you.
Tom Mathis.
PGA golf starts tomorrow, primetime golf.
Absolutely. Keith Farrell.
Happy sports weekend, now.
And again, thank you for listening. We appreciate each and every single one of you. And until next week, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportists Podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.